do we lovingly and faithfully, caringly begin to, by the power of the indwelling Christ, the wisdom of the Holy Spirit, how do we begin to love into that? In fact, we got to be careful in terms of some illustrations because but just folk who are hurting, you get a phone call or a child who shares a situation, and it's like, oh, then again, not unique to Mississippi.
No, it happens
Not at all. It's everywhere.
Sure.
But God has set the Pearson Foundation, just as He set the other entities of the body of Christ in places to be that salt, to be that light, to be that loving, caring component, to be willing to forbear. And not say, well, I tried, I'm out of here, but to really stick in there, just like those stubborn
Call this meeting to order.
Alderman Stovall. Alderman Williams. Alderman Dennis. Alderman Broadwater. Alderman Foy. Alderman Knight. Alderman Foster.
All right, Alderman Williams is going to pray for us this evening. Amen. Madam Clerk will lead us in the pledge this evening.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, under acknowledgement this evening, I have the ladies from Central Mississippi Regional Library System with us. Good to see you, Maura.
Good to see you as well. As you know, my name is Mara Polk. I'm with the Central Mississippi Regional Library System. Have been the director for almost 13 years. Half of that time, 20 plus years, but I started out in Pearl, and I'm just proud to be here today. And the purpose of my meeting is just to say thank you for being part of our almost 40-year-old consortia for the Central Mississippi Regional Library System. As you know, we serve 4 counties, Rankin, Scott, Simpson, and Smith, and there are 20 libraries in our district. It's the largest library system in the state and the best one, because we are in the central heart of the state. Nancy Claypool, the branch manager here, is with us today, and she gave you an information sheet about fiscal year 25. For the Pearl Library, as at the end of fiscal year 25, they had a collection of 59,607 items. They had over 34,000 people enter their doors. 30,933 people have library cards with the Pearl Library, with a total circulation of 33,607 items. They had 462 live programs with 11,936 attending. This library is one of the only ones with a study room and meeting room access for the public, and they had over 2,700 uses. We provided wireless internet for free to the public with over 9,500 sessions. We had computers for people to use, and there were over 5,100 uses. They did 451 outreach programs with 5,918 people present. The library is not just a brick and mortar place. We also reach digitally, so if you are interested in any of our digital items, we do have ebooks, e-audios, e-comic books, streaming movies, you name it. Also, we just procured a magazine subscription with over 9,000 magazines, so if you're into hunting and fishing, there's like thousands and thousands. Of course, this area is that way, and if your wives or your husbands are tired of your hunting and fishing magazines, you can get them digitally through our platform called Newsstand. You can get magazines and periodicals from Germany, China, wherever. So it's just us bringing the world to Pearl, Mississippi. Do y'all have any questions for us?
I do not. I appreciate the really robust service that y'all provide to our community and to our city. I do a great job.
And I would like to say that Nancy Claypool has been here a little over a year, and she has jumped in with both feet, has been almost involved in almost every city event, and that was one of the things that I've told every manager that has come to be part of the city of Pearl. And she has just, like this past weekend, she had an Easter egg hunt after your Easter egg hunt. So hundreds of people actually probably came in after your Easter egg hunt to the library, as well as they had a haunted library during Halloween, and they had probably the only event because everything was canceled that day. And how many people came? 503 people for that event. So we're still wanting to keep the good City of Pearl name at the very top, and that's what I really appreciate about Nancy. Do you have anything to say?
Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I appreciate that Mara is able to quantify the work that we do here. But I just want to remind you guys about like the different personal experiences that we have, and I want you to know that we help people who live here in Pearl every single day at the library through printing services, through enriching their life through programming, and just doing anything else that they might need. We offer so much more than you might typically expect a library to offer. And I've worked at other library systems in the state of Mississippi, and the amount of excellence that I have noticed here has been a really, really welcoming experience for me. Mara is a wonderful director. She's the best director I've ever worked under, and I'm very grateful to have her. And I really appreciate the support from the city through maintaining our facility, through helping, through repairs and cleaning things, and letting us become involved with those outside city things. So even though we did have an Easter egg hunt outside, we still had a table at the outdoor Easter egg hunt too. And so I like to support the city because you guys support us. So thank you so much.
One quick question for you. We have a number of citizens who watch online. Where can they go to find more information? I know there's lots of summer plans. You've told me about Nancy, and where can they find more information about that, what you have happening?
Sure. So we will have some print PR come out with all of our summer reading programs shortly, but you could always visit our website at Central Mississippi Regional Library System and select Pearl and see what events we offer. We also keep up with our Facebook page, and every event that we run will have a flyer accompanied with it. Or you could come and visit us at the library, and I'll pass you a branch calendar, and I'll show you where all of the flyers are hung in there.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Approval of consent agenda items. All items under this heading will be considered to be approved with one motion and one vote. If further discussion is desired on any item, it will automatically be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered as a general business item.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? All right, there's two motions on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
General business number one, consider executive session to discuss personnel matters in the fire department.
Is there a motion to go into executive session? All right, there's two motions on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. We exited it, and we have to enter back into this. Brad, is Mr. Setty's here to address the board? Hey, gentlemen, how are you y'all tonight? Good.
My name is Sonny, and this is my brother Tony.
Tony, nice to meet you guys.
Well, we just got here from Dallas, just not very long ago. We were born and brought up here in Jackson, so welcome back home for us. So we wanted to speak with you guys about a property that we have located on, I think it's 2303 Highway 80 East. Previously, I think it was a part of the agenda, but I think it's changed now. Essentially, the story that we're looking to compile in one big sentence is that we'd like to move forward with our project in the best way that we know how. Initially, the property was purchased and was intended to shift over from one owner to the next, but then many things, life gets in the way sometimes. Substantial work has been done on it to the best of our ability. I think over $200,000 was invested into it to make it to the position that it is now. We no longer live in Mississippi, but our intention is to invest back into Mississippi. This is what we're doing. This is what we have been doing, and the goal is what we're trying to do here is to create something of a high quality, classy experience in a different way. That's not your typical store that you go in and trade a boombox for. This is something of a store that's meant to go into the style and look of what we're trying to create here in Pearl, and get to the bottom of what we're trying to do. To get to the bottom of what we're trying to do is essentially seek a variance in the zoning. My understanding is that the zoning had changed, and we were notified last year. My understanding is that my brother owned the property for a bit over 4 years now, and for the first 3 years of owning the property, he put in time, energy, and money into it to make it happen. And then, of course, the notice was given that the zoning shifted. It's no longer allowed to us. I think the idea and the concern that we had was, unfortunately, we didn't know that was going to be shifting. Now, I can't completely feign innocence in this situation. Of course, there are things that we should know, and there are things that we don't know, and this is one of those things we didn't know, and we shifted to the situation that we're in today. The property has been maintained and well kept. The sign has been torn down, as was prescribed by, I think, the sign ordinance. And the intention of what we're trying to do is to try to improve the quality of the service and the type of industry that we're providing. The industry that he's in is pawn, and that is the business. That's the intention, and that's the goal. We don't have another business to put there, and the purpose for buying it was that. Now, I understand that the things have changed. There are other pawn shops in the area. If you guys may allow, I have a few photos of what we're trying to do, ideas, so I can show you guys a direction. It's on my phone. I didn't get much time to print it out in the car. But ideally, if that's okay with you guys, I can just show you an album and then you guys can pass it.
Before you show these pictures, I think there needs to be some transparency here on time frame.
Sure.
All right. So notification went out a long time ago as far as that
Sure.
district's concerned. It was several years ago when we had this overlay district. Secondly, I mean, I'm willing to work with you guys about what the use is for that overlay district.
Sure.
However, it went from you guys initially purchasing it from Robert, and we're almost 4 or 5 years out where the building's laying dormant.
Sure.
So, and we have a timeline that we can reconstruct. But I think at this point, for the board, with the overlay district, I want you guys to keep in mind that there's other uses for it. I know that y'all didn't plan to have another use for it, but I think Tony can vouch for me sending plenty of people to his phone that were interested in the building, and people calling here too in the meantime. So y'all are not here just by us trying to be difficult or anything like that. We're trying to get some movement and trying to get what you guys' goals are for the
Sure.
future.
Sure.
Because we are improving the city, and we feel like that we are moving things in the right direction. And when you have an empty building and it sits there for long periods of time, it's not a good look. And it's
Of
in
course.
Alderman Foy's district, and he can vouch for knowing it's been empty for a while as well.
Did I understand you said that you're wanting to open a pawn shop?
Yes, sir. It was a pawn shop previously when we purchased it, and the intention was to remodel it, make make it nicer. But then every step of the way got kicked out a bit more.
Well, just to clarify, we're not trying to do a regular pawn shop. I want to do high-end bags. We focus on jewelry. I don't want a typical lawnmower. We have that in Jackson. I have 2 of them there. That's not the clientele I'm looking for. We grew up here, so half of my family's from here. My father lived right down the street, and so everybody that I knew was here, and so I don't have a place to send them for even clientele base in the Indian community for coins and jewelry and things like that. So I wanted it to be a much better loan establishment, not just a typical run-of-the-mill zero-turn tractor out in front of my pawn shop. We have places for that, and that's not what I want here. And honestly, we have no curb appeal for that. There's nowhere for us to do that, so I'm not looking for a trashy environment by any means. That's why he wanted to show you pictures of it.
Yeah, well, we can still look at the pictures, Tony.
Yeah, and so
If you want
we sell jewelry in Dallas, and I sell a lot of things. None of my family, none of my friends will even go to my stores there because that's the type of environment that's different from here. So I wanted to make it more of a luxury environment, and that's what we're looking to do in that entire place. But when we bought the building and we bought the business from Mr. Robert, we paid a big premium as a pawn shop because that's what the goal was. When I spoke with Mr. Wyndham, we went through so many different things. Well, the manager at one of my stores in Jackson had stolen a bunch of money, and I said, I want to put a classier management style here that's not completely a different vibe or a different environment for Pearl. Because even my first job was right here, so I'm very, very involved with the Pearl environment. Like, it's one of those things that's really important. But we're not looking for a trashy pawn shop by any means at all.
Yeah, we understand that City of Pearl is looking to improve the environment, the quality. I've seen, since my last trip here, I saw a few buildings look a little bit better, and I see some buildings that still need to be improved. Of course, we're looking to be on that better side. And of course, now, given everything at the timeline, the time that has gone by, we understand that there has to be a timeline to this. There has to be strict and more rigidity, and we're willing to commit to that because that's the goal and the direction we're trying to do. I think our life is finally conducive to do that.
This is not and just to put us in context, right? We're not here to ask, y'all not ask for a variance or a conditional use. I think the use is your issue, right?
That's right.
And I necessarily would not agree with your timeline of how it went, but nonetheless, we're here and the use is not allowed, right? So you would have to ask this board for permission. And
That's
not what we're here for today. So if that's ultimately where we go, that would be a separate request. If you would make it to community development, then would notice it, have a public
Sure.
hearing, and then the board would take action on that.
Sure.
But just for informational purpose, that's what we're here for. I would encourage you, if you have that concept, put it together, submit it to community development, then we proceed from there, right? But this meeting is not the meeting to take action because it's not properly noticed to do that.
Sure. Of course, we were here for a different purpose.
Yeah,
There was a hearing on
understand.
the docket.
Yeah.
And when we heard outside that it
Yeah.
wasn't, we said, we're here.
Yeah.
7 hours.
Absolutely.
Well,
Can't
we
be here every
certainly,
day.
we made sure we accommodated you, though.
Thank you for
Come
that.
in. I mean,
Thank you for that.
We appreciate it. Ideally, I guess the question that I could ask for you guys, I know that this isn't the place to provide that answer, but given where we are, if we do go through that process, that's something that's would it be worth our time and effort and your time and effort to even go through that process? Of course, it has to come back through the proper channels and the proper time frame. But the question is that something, or should we consider other routes given where we stand? I just like to get an idea. I don't necessarily know if you guys get an idea of what I'm trying to ask.
in that district, the language that we're dealing with prohibits exclusively pawn, okay? So you guys have a lot of jewelry and things of that nature. I don't know if there's not be a segue into having more on the jewelry side of things instead of a pawn side of things. I think that's where we're dealing with as far as the variance is concerned.
Well-
It's strict overlay, and listen, fellas, we're trying to do something here around City Hall. Y'all are probably aware of that.
Thank you.
And so it takes that policy to put in place to kind of change. I realize you guys have a very good looking photo there, but I think it's the pawn aspect. I don't think that if you look at maybe some additional uses that we could provide for that district, there might be something that you like. I don't know, and I wouldn't expect the board tonight to say, hey, yes, up or down, because they got to do their due diligence as aldermen as well. You know,
Sure.
they got to take things into consideration before making a decision like that on the fly to grant a variance to a prohibited area on uses. So I would probably try to explore that, and then I would think that the journey would come back to the variance itself and let these gentlemen have an informed decision where they have time to contemplate things.
Sure. An alternative idea and concept that just as you guys are speaking of it, pawn is traditionally towards a lot of items, right? What if we were to more specify and create a more exclusivity of types of items that are loaned towards, right? Those types of items that don't necessarily ruin a curb appeal. You know, not so many TVs, not so many tools, all right? But more along the lines of, you know, the idea that the biggest concept behind the store is that we may sell some items, but the idea is that there would be jewelry heavy and then gun heavy. And of course, that's what people like in the area. That's going to serve the community. What if we were to make it more exclusive to those types of items? Not specifically, but more limited rather than a full array of items, right? If that could potentially work towards it, especially since the direction of what we're trying to go. How does that appeal to the thoughts?
I would suggest, because you've thrown around a couple ideas, put together something.
Okay.
Let's get into community development. We're in the middle of a comp plan. You're in an overlay district. I would reach out to our planners to make
Sure.
sure it's consistent with where we're heading.
Sure.
We're in a 5 to 7 year plan right now of reevaluating all land use in the city.
Sure.
So we want to make sure it's consistent with what they have in mind.
Yeah.
So if you have a concept, let's get it to them. We'll get it to our planners and then get back and we'll all circle together before we get back here to make sure you're informed, right?
Sure.
And then you're not making that trip unnecessarily.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To be cognizant of your time and make sure that everybody's doing what we're supposed to do on the front end so we're not bringing you here unnecessarily.
Sure, and I'd appreciate that. Thank you for the feedback as well. I think one additional question I have is, in the meantime, should we plan to do any work on this property at all, or should we leave it as it is? I mean, of course, I don't know what the timeline looks like on those kind of things, but is it in our best interest, from your guys' perspective, to try to make any additional effort on this property? Or if it doesn't fit into the direction of the business and what we're looking to do, ideally, is what I'm trying to get at.
So I want to make sure you know that I'm not being ugly here.
Sure,
There's
I'm
not
sorry.
I'm not being ugly here, but there's not been a whole lot done recently on it, so I would wait until, see if the use is approved.
Sure.
I don't want you to spend more money in the meantime.
Right, no, I appreciate
But
that.
I would think and we have some time. I'm glad that y'all are here today because I'm glad to have an audience with y'all in person.
Absolutely.
And I think hopefully if we look at some of this stuff, just like what Brendan, our city attorney, just said, there might be a pathway.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to kind of put this out there. I've not been involved with this project at all. This is my older brother, but I'm an attorney like you. I took time out to come here and advocate on his behalf. I'm in a totally different world, totally different life. And so ideally, I understand, but with the sense of where we are, I'm happy to get involved now, make things more compliant to the best of the ability to push it to the end goal and to get it to where we need to be. And so just wanted to let you guys know, in the case that you guys see me in the future, at least you know what role I'm playing. So,
Well, thank you. Y'all probably needed some time together
yeah, we did, definitely.
to hang out. I don't always get to see my brother as much as I want to, so.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
No, I think we're good. Thank y'all so
Thank you
much.
guys for hearing us out.
Appreciate it.
We look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we've come to the portion of the board meeting that we adjourned in people's names that recently passed within our city. Longtime residents, Ralph Hall. Ralph been around here for a long time, touched many people's lives. Just recently, we were able to get him on a locomotive. I don't know how long has that been, David, since we got him out there? That was one of his lasting requests, to get on a locomotive on the engine, and we were able to arrange that with CPKC, so that was really good. He had a great day, but our thoughts and prayers are certainly with the family. He is such a gap for them. And also Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was a longtime fireman, longtime Pearl Pirate here. I think everybody, when they thought about Keith, they thought about our city, and certainly this pride that he had for the football program and other programs within the city. So he was a character. He's very bombastic and a lot of fun. So we're certainly going to miss Keith, and we're praying for his family at this time. And also we have Mr. Bill Lehman that recently passed away, that had Bill's Archery. All these folks just had a tremendous impact on the city for so many years. So again, we just ask for people to pray for their family during this time, and that the Holy Spirit will provide peace in their lives. So with that being said, is there a motion to adjourn in these gentlemen's names? Second. All right, any further discussion? Not, all in favor say aye. This meeting's adjourned.
Hey, guys, before y'all our office hours, I guess we try to work 7 to 4, but that usually doesn't happen.
What do you do?
So we have our commercial and residential. We do landscape lighting all the way up to anything that has wires. So we do anything. New construction, residential homes, a lot of generators, service calls, troubleshooting.
So you're commercial and residential?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But isn't that a big part of your business?
It started to be that. It still's a big part, but I would say it's kind of equally between everything now. Yeah.
And you have, you're an electrician, this gentleman's an electrician, and you have apprentices?
So both of us are masters, and then the rest of them are apprentice.
Mm-hmm. And how long does that take to get where they need to get?
I guess it depends on the person.
I didn't know if there was a time.
I usually say 5 years, 4 years to turn out, but
What else do we need to know? Where do you know?
224 North Pearson Road in Pearl.
He's going to edit all this.